Using your universal tokens early might be the biggest mistake you make in Call of Dragons. And the reason this topic is so dangerous is because both sides sounds smart. One player told you just use them on Kinara early, she's broken or maybe Madeline. Another player tell you don't spend a single one until season 3. And if you're a new or WoW spender player in Call of Dragons, both of those answers can sound correct. So in this Call of Dragon Universal Token Guide, I want to break down what universal tokens actually are, why they are one of the most valuable resources in the game, why the wrong early investment can slow down your whole account, when Kinara is actually worth it, and when saving for late generations is the smartest play. So this is something like the beginning, maybe season 1, season 2, early season 3 topic, because the real answer is not always spent and it's not always safe. The real answer is stop spending universal tokens without a plan. So if you're searching for when to use universal tokens in Call of Dragons, best hero for universal tokens in Call of Dragons, should I save universal tokens for season 3 in Call of Dragons, or is Kinara worth in general in Call of Dragons, best early game hero investments in Call of Dragons? This is a video for you. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how to decide whether your tokens should go into an early hero like Kinara, whether you should hold for later generation, and what kind of player should do each strategy. In Call of Dragons, a legendary hero required, I want to point out this thing very clear, required 690 tokens total to max everything. 690 tokens. And one of the ways you can actually see that is you just go on the hero, you click this Thunderlin Awakened, yeah, she's Awakened, and scroll down, and you're going to see how many tokens I actually did to awake Thunderlin. 334, I guess this for the daily bundles. 208 universal token, just generation 3 tokens, generation 4 6, and 142 universal tokens. This is what you need to fully make a legendary hero max skillet. That alone tell you why universal tokens is a huge deal. This is not a cheap resource. This is not something you actually throw around just because you got excited after one good fight. And the reason universal tokens are premium is simple. They're flexible. Specific hero tokens can only go into one hero. Universal tokens can go whenever you decide your account needs to them the most. That flexibility is what makes them so powerful. And as I already mentioned, is you're having, first of all, a hero tokens that is for example, this is a foreign deal tokens. You have specific generation token. This is generation 5. So from generation 1 till generation 5, they can use these hero tokens. Generation 6 cannot use these tokens. And finally, you have legendary universal one that can be used from generation 20. Basically from every hero that is going to come in the game. That's why they're extremely valuable. But it's also what makes them so dangerous, because the second you spend a universal token on the wrong hero, you're not just upgrading that hero, you're killing future options. Very important. If you spend them right now, you're killing your future options. That matters even more now because Call of Dragons has added a hero token exchange store, which helps with leftover hero tokens from the current season. And this is where you basically get these tokens. This is hero seals from the legendary hero tokens exchange item for the token exchange. Also, there is a new event where you can basically take out tokens from a hero and get the tokens back. Very important. Very important. Now, this is great, but that system does not magically erase bad universal token decisions. And official hero reset wording say that user tokens are refunded as skill points for that hero, which means the value stays trapped on that hero rather than become fresh universal flexibility again. Yeah, this is something that we have to also point out. So the first big principle in this video is actually universal tokens are not just hero power, they are account flexibility. Is very important. If you want to have your account flexible, you need to have this universal token, so you can actually go in direction on other direction, or when a meta hero appear in Call of Dragons like Yu Ming, for example, to be prepared. And when you waste them, the damage is bigger than the people actually think. Now, why early game players waste them? Let's start from there. Most early players waste universal tokens for one of three reasons. They chase the first strong legendary they see. This basically you get the Velen, even though that the Velen, for example, is in the gold keys. Where is the my poor Velen? Even that the Velen is actually in the gold keys, you're basically just see some strong hero, you start sending your tokens there. Our hero feels strong early, they see good battle reports, they hear one content creator parse and pairing, and suddenly they want to full send their universal tokens. This is emotional investing, not strategic investing. I want to point out this thing. They confuse strong now with best long-term value. So one hero can be strong now. This is a huge trap in Call of Dragons. Some heroes are amazing in the moment, but the question is not just, is this hero strong? The question is this the best place for my rarest flexible tokens? You always have to ask, is this a meta? If it's meta hero, I'm planning to actually make a video about the meta heroes in Call of Dragons, so you can easily separate the meta heroes from rest of the heroes. So don't forget to hit one like, also subscribe if you're interested in this type of content. And finally, they don't separate specific token heroes from universal hero tokens. This is probably the biggest mistake in the entire decision. Now, Wookiee Spin give access to specific legendary tokens, not just generic value. So when a hero is already tied to repeatable hero-specific event, very important, burning universal tokens on the same hero can be inefficient unless you have very clear reason. This is why this whole Kinara debate exists. And what I mean by that is some heroes, you're going to be presented with two new heroes each season. One is going to be in the strongest sword, the second one is going to be in the Wookiee Spin. The heroes that are in Wookiee Spin, don't spend universal tokens on them. They're going to appear in the game over and over and over and over again. And you can just go in the Wookiee Spin, maybe do like 10 spins, get extra 5 tokens after you do like 10 spins, and maybe get the hero from extra tokens from the hero. But yeah, at the end of the day, from Wookiee Spin, don't spend. Now, strongest sword is something different, because in the strongest sword, you're not having that many options. For example, Gorish is from the strongest sword. One of the ways you can see it, yeah, as you can see, strongest sword. Now, you have Dialog with Gorish that can give you tokens, but this is when you already have Gorish, and universal hero tokens. This is the only two ways you can go, or strongest sword. On the other side, for example, Kuma is, it can be get from Wookiee Spin, which appear over and over and over again in this game. So you can basically get continue getting more tokens. And one of the things that Call of Dragons lately make a change, that was the VIP store, when the Call of Dragons actually give us a universal legendary token, not specific hero token. for the people who it's like me playing the game for a very long time. We remember that here you have to select specific hero, but no longer. Right now we're having a legendary token, so don't chase heroes from Wiki Spin with your universal tokens. Very important. Now let's talk about little season 1, because here we're having little conversation about the Kinara, the pro Kinara argument. Now let's be fair, the reason people tell you to invest in Kinara early, especially with the latest changes in Call of Dragons for the marksmans, yeah, early, it's not because they're stupid, it's just because Kinara has real strange. Now if you have Husk in the season 1 and you have Kinara, this is a very solid combo, and even Kinara Nico as a commander, again, very solid combo. Community guides still rate Kinara as a very strong open field marksman hero built around debuffing, defense break, attack down, if I remember right. Where is my beautiful Kinara? I actually take out the tokens from her when I get opportunity. It was like 5-5-4-2, something like this. But yeah, damage dealt is reduction. Here we're reducing the damage do, also having defense break and all these things about the Kinara. And this is one of the pure PvP hero. I can say Velen and Kinara is pure PvP heroes in the season 1. So yeah, the buffing, working PvP pressure, she also listed as a server related heroes, which means players meet her very early in the account. You basically get it at the beginning of your journey in Call of Dragons. This is from season 1. Maybe it's going to appear later because it's also from the Wiki Spin, if I remember right. Yeah, she's from the Wiki Spin. Time limited event, also some kind of event, but anyway. And if you are a marksman focused player, that's matter a lot. Kinara give you a real identity early. She give you a path, she give you a march you can actually build around. So in season 1, the majority of the players decide what kind of troop they're going to play. Are they going to be mages? Are they going to be cavalry? Are they going to be marksmen? If you're well or Kraken, you can go with infantry, but so far not many infantry mains in Call of Dragons. That's powerful because one of the biggest beginner mistakes in Call of Dragons is trying to build everything. A focused account often beats a scattered account. So better have one very solid focused mage main account, for example, or marksman account, from trying to build from everything. Now when you get and make like 5 awakened mage legions or marksman legions or cavalry legions, you can actually focus on the second troop and trying to build heroes there. Now in my case, I already have my 5 mage legions awakened, and the only thing that I'm currently doing is I awake Kuma and Gorish. This is a meta. Both of these two heroes are meta heroes, and yeah, this is the reason currently I'm investing in these heroes. But yeah, I was having a time where I invest in Syndrian and Frygar. Yeah, because it's just better to focus over one troop. So the Pro Kinara case sounds like, why save forever and stay weak when Kinara is already good, already relevant, and can immediately improve your PvP value? This may be a question that arises in your mind. And honestly, that's a real argument at the end of the day, especially if you're a marksman main, you plan to stay committed to that march, you're already spinning her event, basically Wiki Spin, and you need a strong usable march right now. Also, Kinara still has relevance in community tier discussions, where she described as a strong PvP open field choice with wonk relevance, even if newer generation eventually push her from the top or meta hero. So no, the use them on Kinara early side is not crazy, but here is the problem. If you just go over the Kinara, why the pro Kinara argument can still be a trap. Let's talk about this. Now, Right now I'm giving a Kinara as an example. I want to point out this thing, but this also applies for Madeline, it's also applying for Velen, is also applying even for Generation 2 heroes. The trap is not that Kinara is weak, the trap is that strong hero does not automatically mean best universal token target. And this is where many players get wrecked. Kinara is associated with Wiki Spin, and Wiki Spin is specifically a source, as I already mentioned, of specific legendary hero tokens. In other words, the game already gives you a line to invest in Kinara through a hero targeted system. You already have a path for Kinara. For every Wiki Spin hero, you already have this path for this hero, how to get this hero at the end of the day. So if you're dumping universals into her early, what are you really doing? You're using your most flexible resource on a hero that already has her own access path. That can be fine for spenders, that can even be correct for committed marksman players, but for WoW spenders or free-to-play players, this can be brutal. This can be brutal because later in Call of Dragons, your account starts to care more about whether your hero still scales into later metas. Is it in the late game? Let's say it in the late game. Is this hero going to scale up in the late game? Whether your troop identity changes, are going to still be marksmen. Whether a later generation hero give better long-term value. For example, I'm not gonna lie, you guys. I'm using in Battle of Abyss, I'm using so much Gorish and Kuma from my Awakened Mage marches, just because they just generate so much merits in one Battle of Abyss for 15 minutes. Whether a later generation, yeah, basically, and whether you're regret front-loading too much into early season comfort pick. This is the hidden cost. Not Kinara bad, but Kinara might not be the best use of your universal flexibility. And finally, I want to point out the save everything until season 3 argument. Now let's look at the other extreme. The other side says don't spend a single universal tokens, just wait till season 3 and latest heroes. Now I want to say something that today I get on my stream, and there was one person saying, yo Burgas, right now we get so much heroes and I'm not able to, you know, build all of these heroes, because right now, as a player who is playing this game for like 3 years, per season we get 2 heroes, but the people who is starting right now Call of Dragons, so they can catch up with us, they have to adapt more faster and more heroes are presented to them. So if you're just starting Call of Dragons, you have pretty decent you're not going to wait that much till you hit the generation 3 heroes, let's say it like this. So yeah, this argument save for season 3 may matter, but this idea comes from a smart place. Why? Because in Call of Dragons, power creep is real enough that heroes' relevance matter. Even recent community tiering still frames hero investments as a very long-term decision, and some newer generation clearly raise the ceiling in certain troop categories. So the save for later growth is basically saying, why fully commit your rarest resource in the early game heroes when better opportunity may arrive later? So when you catch up with my generation, where is or my basically generation, where you're playing with the players who is like 3 years playing Call of Dragons, better have your universal tokens at this point so you can be competitive with them, because you're going to very fast awake a hero from this to go, for example, in season 1 heroes or maybe season 2. That logic is actually strong. It's strong because you can just cherry pick the meta heroes and only invest in these meta heroes. And it gets even stronger if you're free to play. Definitely, if you're free to play. You don't know your final troop yet, so you still think maybe you're marksman main, mage main, cavalry main. You still don't decide where exactly you want to go. You're not competing hard right now. If you're chill, fine. You don't need immediate PvP impact, or you are the kind of players who always regrets early spending. So you basically have something like a bad memory or deja vu. If you go very fast with your resources at the beginning, it may go in the wrong direction. But this strategy has also has a problem. If you save too hard, you can cripple your present account. A weak present account means, first of all, worse field performance. Second, weak event output. The third, worse alliance contribution. Not many people is going to, you know, let's wait Joffrey. Yeah, let's wait Joffrey like 1 year to save universal accounts. He's going to play with his Garwood and Ileana that are like 5-1-2-1, but we have to wait for Joffrey, you know. If your field performance are bad, people are going to watch your merits. This is basically, by the way, my performance this season. We're at the beginning. I'm like 8 million already. A weaker event output. This is, you know, so because he is also with other resources related. But yeah, the alliance contribution is not going to be that good. And the other thing, less enjoyment. By the way, guys, when I start playing Call of Dragons, I really start enjoying so much the game when I open my tier 5. No joke, when I opened the research and I saw I'm finally opening the tier 5, and I was like, especially the Celestials one, this is where my enjoy actually starts coming. But I already was having Awakened Heroes. But I can guarantee this is just less enjoyable to have very weak account saving. It may even make you quit the game at the end of the day. And in some cases, less overall progress because your active march never gets off the ground. So save everything forever can also be a bad advice, because that value now is still that value. Now the real question that you should ask yourself is now what is the real question? The wrong question is, should I spend universal tokens early? This is the wrong question. The better question is, what purchase give my account the most long-term value per universal token? And again, this is going to be, that is a completely different mindset. What is going to be long-term? And this is where we content creators come to help you guys make the best decision for the heroes that are coming in Call of Dragons, so you can have this long-term value and knowing where to spend your universal tokens. Because now you're not thinking emotionally, you're not thinking in terms of hype, you're thinking in terms of return, and that return depends on 4 things. And first thing is troop identity. If you're not sure whether you're mage main or marksman, infantry or cavalry long term, your universal should stay protected longer till you actually understand and decide what kind of main troop you want to be. Now the second one is access path. If a hero already have a good access path through a wiki spin or another hero specific route, universal tokens become less urgent. Wiki spin is specifically valuable because it includes specific legendary hero tokens, which means even access matter a lot for your calculation. This is, you're going to just get more tokens from there, and you have like free three free spins. From there you can just buy with gems like 7 spins, make it 10 spins, you have some chance to get tokens. You're going to get for sure 5 tokens. I think it was 5 or maybe 10, I don't remember quite well. But yeah, this is an access spot. Wacky Spin is an access spot. Walkability is a hero that stays relevant longer, deserve more serious consideration than a hero that is mainly an early comfort pick. Community tier evaluations still treat Kinara as relevant, but the Board 2026 hero environment also show later generation competition getting stronger. So there's still people thinking about the Kinara, but yeah, 2026 is giving us even more marksmen. Right now we're having also changes in the marksmen. But at one point, Generation 1 heroes is just going to get left behind. Now, I was expecting, not gonna lie, Velen to survive longer, but at one point, still, he's one of the best deputies for the mages. There is here and there good heroes, but yeah, at the end of the day, just look which hero is right now in 2026 most relevant in the game. And finally, immediate impact. If the investment give you a real usable march right now, that has value. If you only give you a tiny stat bump where destroying future flexibility, that is usually bad. So yeah, if you, for example, you know, get Lilia and you buy Lilia, you have some. By the way, Lilia cannot be with universal tokens, just to mention that. And you want to be a mage main, maybe going, if you want to go with Velen, fine. If you want to go with Thea, fine. Even though that I believe Thea is better from Velen, my personal opinion, from the reports I get. But yeah, if you want to make this solid, strong Legion, go with, for example, Thea and actually invest in her. Or maybe Velen. This is still very solid heroes that are end game heroes. Now, my actual recommendation for most players. Here's the clearest evergreen advice I can give you. If you're free to play player or WoW spender, do not dump universal tokens casually in early game. Call of Dragons. Protect them until you're certain about your long-term March identity. That does not mean never spend them. It means make that first spend very intentional. You have to know where you're going. If you're marksman main and committed to Kinara, using some universals on Kinara can make sense, especially if she is your real main project and you know you're continue basically building her and investing in her. But you have to keep in mind that she's having this access path include Wacky Spin specific tokens. If you're a spender, your answer is different. Spenders can accelerate both specific tokens path and universal tokens usage, which change the maths. Early Kinara becomes more defensible if you know you're filling multiple lines anyway. If you're confused, your default move should be saving, not spending. Always. It didn't actually mean that this. I'm talking about the game. In life, in any place, if you're confused, if you don't know, are you wanna go for something or don't go for something, just by buying. I mean, buying something. You're not so sure about something. Just don't do it. You should be saving in this situation, not actually spending, because confusion is not a reason to invest. Confusion is a reason to wait. So yeah, guys, this is my short video about the universal tokens. If you go that far, please do me a favor and hit one like. Let me know what you think in the comments below. It's going to be a great pleasure for me to read all of the comments. Again, if you go that far in this video, congratulations, thank you very much. Let me know what you think and where you are spending your universal tokens, which meta heroes you believe deserve your universal tokens, basically everything you want to share in the comments below. I'm Burgas, thank you very much, I wish you a great day. Here I'm going to put one video that it can be interesting for you. I wish you a great day and see you in the next video.